Okay, so let's continue with the case. So at this point, we need to run. So we have this script here, run solver. So everything have been predefined, so it's ready to run. We're going to revisit a little bit now the pneumatics, but nothing new. But to clarify something in the previous video, I just got a little bit confused with or I got lost in translation with this value here, now just to check now the boundary layer. So just to revisit that, and here, look at that. This is the case where we have now that this small region to do refinement. So we have here 4 in this in the body. This will be in the uniform mesh. Without that refinement will be 6. Remember, it's +2. And also be careful that here you have a +2 here that will be a 10. So let's go here. So if we put here, so this is what we have. Okay, 0.75 will be the cell next to the XTL after adding that refinement. But now let's find these values. Now, if you go into the log file, now always look for the near wall. Now, this is the one that it will tell you, and I already know well when it will work. So usually, in this Excel file here, you have now I put a kind of a magic number, but it's not a magic. It's just the aspect ratio between the edge size on the surface and the first cell center. So it has to be something about 100 or the ratio 32. Okay, if more than that is going to fail. In that case, you can start to disable some quality in the mesh quality, disable some of the options or reduce the values, and likely will work. Okay, but it's going to be a little bit more time consuming to get the meshes, and it will require iteration. In any case, to get to this here, so we say that we have in the body, we have a refinement of 4 in the mesh with the refinement, but that will be equivalent to 6 in this one. So see that you have the same values, and here you have, so we have 3 layers, if I will recall. So let me also confirm that. 3 layers, 1.2, and final layer signal 0.5. So I think our parameters are okay. So 0.5, 1.2. So see that here you have 0.16. Okay, which I think, is about that value. It doesn't need to pinpoint that once there are some precision, but see that we have it, and I know it will work. And by looking also, I know it will work, but I know that it can get down to probably 20 layers and it will work, but probably there is a limit, probably 18 layers you can get to this value. Okay, and I can guarantee you that it will work. By changing also quality metrics, you can go even further, but it starts to get problematic. But as you see, you can also generate your boundary layers with no problem. And then also we have the other one, we have an 8. So there was an 8 that is equivalent to a 10, and we have 0, 0, 1, 0. So if you go here, you have a 0, 0, 1, 3, pretty much the same. And by looking at this one here, I think it's a little bit more restricted. Now still you can get to something 22 with no problem. Okay, so you have it there, and it will work. So it's up to you at this point to try it. Okay, very helpful. Now this is Excel. So remember, you can also use first relatives, you can use wall progressions, refine wall progression, but I think the easiest one or the best one is this one, the final relative. It's the one that is easiest to control. So that's all. Okay, so you have all the, let me close there. So I had a small gap doing that in the previous video. So now we can run the solver. So again, 28, so be careful, show you adapt that according to what you have. So now we go run solver, and it should launch with no problem. We have boundary conditions, so tolerance models, we have a few CFD cookies, we have many videos. I still missing something on less, but less is much easier than runs, and actually we're going to do the less with this also. This is a lot, okay, but this is something standard, nothing new to add there. You know turbulence modeling and all our turbulence models in OpenFOAM. I recommend you to visit those playlists, the CFD cookies. And we go to the numerics that probably requires some attention, or not attention, just to visit. So Control D, runtime parameters. We're going to run this many iterations, blah, 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 blah. Then we have, this is now my signature. I always like to print minimum and maximum values, so you put that there. Then the forces, okay, you have the forces in the body, the forces in the propeller, okay. Then the Y plus field, your statistics, the wall shears, Q criterion. So this is nice colors. I computing statistics. Okay, so very standard for me. FV solutions, so steady solutions, standard numerics. Okay, good mesh. So I don't need to push forward that. SV solution, then linear solvers, also pretty much standard. Here simple, number of iteration, consistent, yes, and then relaxation factor. So pretty much standard. As you see, easy peasy, okay? And at this point, it is running, and let's wait for this solution. I think let me open a new window here. It is script, no. So actually, let me go, because no songs here. Let me use this. So here I have these scripts and new plot. So new plot scripts, plot body forces, and it's going to plot the body forces here. Okay. Then the same new plot new plot split plot and the forces in the propeller. The propeller is not rotating, there is no source there, so this is just a source of drag. So here you have drag and thrust generated by the propeller. Okay, then you have the leaf side forces. Remember, here we are the input velocity 40, cruise velocity should be 80, so you double velocity, quadruple the forces, so you should be around the required leaf. Now this airplane weighs about 2100 kilos, so let's say 22,000 newtons. So as you see, you were in there. So at this point, let's wait for the final solution, and then we do some post-processing with nice colors. So let's wait for the final solution. Okay, so at this point we have a solution, and I have to say that I started this video with no safety net. That is, I didn't test this case, so I missed something here that I forgot. Yeah, I forgot to disable. So actually we have the MRF, so see that it is active, and look at that, it have this table now, so it's changing the RPMs. It goes from 1500 to 2800 RPMs. Actually stop at 1027 RPMs, which is the maximum RPMs of this aircraft, by the way. So here you have some comments and so on. So yeah, I forgot to mention that. So what you see here is very interesting. So see that you see the change in the force produced by the propeller. So it goes from drag producing to thrust producing, and this is the scenario we want. This is the total drag of the aircraft, so to have the things balanced, drag have to be equal to thrust, so we're getting there. So probably if we change the pitch angle, you are going to, probably not, I'm 100% sure that's part of the exercise that we're going to do. You have lift and everything. There is something interesting that the forces are oscillating a lot. I don't know why, as I mentioned, no, I didn't test this. So now let's do some post-processing. Yeah, but to remember, I will leave it like this. You can run, or if you want, you can disable here. Disable if you don't want it. But if you want to use the MRF, be careful that you need to create that region. Also, the region is created here, and it has this name. So as you go here, MRF properties, rotating cell, rotating cell, okay, with this name. Okay, so we're assigning that. But besides that, it pretty much everything is the same, nothing fun, nothing new. So let's go paraview build in. And by the way, as you look at here, your minimum and maximum values, everything is okay. So probably here some unrealistic values, so maybe might have been a good idea to enable this limiter here, SPD constraint, but that is part of the exercise later. So let's launch here and do some post-processing, decompose case, and let me go here, last one, okay, and let me put, first let's put a cut plane there on you. Okay, so let's, so definitely there is an issue in you, so probably mesh so that can be an exercise for you, but definitely now there is some unsteadiness, on separation, okay, but no, I don't see anything critical. Okay, everything makes sense. Let me put here 20 and 60. And something important, know that you can see clearly here that it's producing thrust. So you have the momentum there, the excess, momentum excess. And actually, let me go here. Bam, 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 bam. Yeah, there is a lot separation there, so it might be better to use full and steady. But in any case, everything seems to be working fine. So now that we have that, let's select, for instance, body and prop. Okay, and you have the pressure field. Let me scale there, and voila. Okay, where is the prop? I don't see the propeller. Okay, so there you go. So let me rescale, and this is 3000 here and 3000 there. So this is it. So everything makes sense, but it's important here, and the evidence that this is pushing the aircraft. So pressure negative here, pressure positive or higher here. So that is pushing. So you have the pressure differential there. Okay. And what else we can do? Q criterion. So I go there, put there, let me go here, Q, let me put 500, let's see what we can see here, and we're going to see something interesting here as well. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, so yeah, this is below this low to compute, so something, be careful here, sometimes happens. So let me go back and open. So there are some operations, usually these contours and computing, getting those quantities. So you go, you compute this, you put Q, let me put 500, but be careful before hitting this, apply, use octave binning. Okay, this is much faster. The uniform for some reason is below this low. And there you go, this is the Q criteria. As you see here, we have the region where we add the MRF and the interface between the faces. You have this, and this is something difficult to control with Snappy. It's a shame that you cannot have. This is because you don't have perfectly matching meshes here. Okay, so this is later. We're going to address that issue later, but don't worry about that. But let me reduce here to 100. And there you go. So you have your vertical structures, the vintage. So obviously finer meshes, you're going to see more stuff. So basically finer mesh, you go on a steady and you will get this. So pretty much this is exactly the same mesh. So fully on a steady, a much refinement, a much refined mesh, and you have a less and very nice simulation there. Okay, so exactly with this same geometry, same setup, you can obtain, reproduce these results. Okay, so I think, yeah, we cover a lot. So this is just, by the way, this is just the introduction. We work with the playground, okay? So now you have an idea what we're going to do, but at this point also think, okay, you are able to do many things in Snappy to control your meshes, do complex simulations. And the next videos we're going to address the MRF, run the simulations, do some interesting studies, the NCC, the full sliding meshes, see new options, some small details, and also here we have no sun, means that pretty much that we did here, but we're going to study some other options now that is in the intersection. It's very interesting what happens here in this intersection between propeller and fuselage and how to control that, and also talk about this issue here. So that's all for this video. Okay, so see you next time. If you like it, okay, please now hit the like button or subscribe, and okay, see you next time. Bye.